Greetings everyone and welcome back to City Skylines and of course to the city of Aavak. Right, okay, well the first thing we're going to do in this episode, we have got a couple of suggestions. And the first one we're going to be using is River Run. Now, when it comes to roads, I'm going to go with chaotically. That is to say, it's going to be randomly picked. You know, one room named Bone Dragon, things like that, and Lovelace Lane. But with districts, if there's a particularly fitting suggestion, I've actually got all of the suggestions now. I'm actually keeping a name list on my second monitor, and I'll quickly scan through it and see if there's anything that jumps out at me. But I have already randomized the name, so if, as a fallback, I can just go with something completely random if I need to. Unfortunately, as expected, we're starting to see a lot of abandonment over here because there's just not enough workers. We're going to be working on that in this episode. But Vermont Heights, let's see. We are going to be going with Sylvan. Well, it's not really Boulevard. We'll just go with Sylvan Heights, I get. There we go. It's a bit of a mixture of the names, but I think that will work out quite well there. We may still have a Sylvan Boulevard somewhere. Now, all right. So in this episode, we really need to focus on getting a lot more growth of our population so that we can fill in these jobs. Honestly, what's happened here is I've gone a little bit kind of focused on representing everything in this one small space, and this is not a city. This is a small part of a larger city, and so I'm going to get a chunk of population over here just to try and deal with the industries down here. But then as we expand, we'll have a little bit more space between things. We can lay them out a little bit nicer, and it should all come together quite well in time. Now, Sylvan Boulevard, I'm afraid you're going to have to shrink because all of this area over here is going to become residential for the time being, at the very least. We might eventually change this into more farmland, especially if we start to expand out in that direction. But for the time being, we're going to be sticking with this. For now, then, let's bring out a little street. Let's bring it out to about there, I think. And then we are going to want to try and use these lines to bring this along. And we never really want to go too far out. That's actually near as damn it perfect for what I wanted. Glorious. I approve. I approve massively. And down here then, much the same, really. Let's bring that along. Try and keep it... Wow, that was perfect. I think that is actually perfect. We've got two space buildings all along there. Now, we're not actually going to put anything in there, at least not right now. Okay, I think that's a decent start there. It's a bit of an irregular shape, but I think we've also got a decent density of potential houses here. However, we are going to need some power being transferred across, so let's go ahead and pop that one there, and that should be good enough for us. And of course, we need to make sure there's plenty of water through this area as well. And since this is kind of an irregular shaped road, gonna have to fight with it a little bit, unfortunately. Is there any way that I can get this to do what I want? No, there isn't. Okay, fine. I'm not gonna stress out too much about that. There's so many other things I can stress out about instead. Right, there we go. That'll give us adequate water, and it is now. Well, actually, water-wise, not amazing. Actually, not amazing. Right, it's time for us now to fill this place with residential. We want all of the residences we can possibly get, with a couple of little spots reserved for some shopping. We still don't have a central kind of commercial district, and that is probably something that is going to be a theme for this whole area. I mean, this is as good to a central commercial district as this little part of our city is ever going to have. But really what I would like to do is just have enough to get some low-level houses, and this will probably never really develop into dense housing or anything like that. We'll keep the big towers for further away. This will just be the sort of cradle of our city, its birthplace. There we go. And in fact, just to keep things going nicely, we'll pop a little bit of commercial there as well, just to keep things nice and uniform. Right, time to speed things up. Now, there are a couple of people made a few comments that I wanted to address on the previous videos. Quite a few people actually mentioned, well, why aren't I building these in these areas? Because they can produce 20 power. Well, actually, that depends massively on where you put it. We can get 17 megawatts there, some places only 15. Much the same as turbines that go on land, there are better places and there are worse places. The lighter the area, the less wind. The darker the area, the more wind. So typically somewhere up really high and somewhere close to water is going to generate more wind than otherwise. Now, these turbines excel at getting wind from a little bit offshore. They're literally offshore wind turbines. And they also have a bit of solar there. However, they do cost a lot more to make. If we have a look at the relative cost, 6,000 to build this wind turbine, 12,000 to build this one. So it's twice as expensive just to build. This one costs 80 per week. This one costs 200 per week. So if we have a look at how much these wind turbines are generating, about 8 megawatts. If we're only getting 16 megawatts, but we're paying over twice as much to maintain it and twice as much to build it, but getting only exactly twice as much energy, it is really not an efficient one to go for. And I think a few people just missed out that this isn't producing the maximum that it can produce. It will never produce 20 if I build it here. It'll only ever produce 17 if I build it here, and still that's not quite good enough for the added upkeep. So that's the reason why I haven't used the advanced wind turbines instead of building a second coal power plant. It is always worthwhile having a look at those kinds of numbers, because it can really catch you off guard if you're not careful. Now, this is going to be a lovely little place here, just full of residents. There we go. And we'll get some more down here as well. Just gonna start padding this place out because we do need a lot more workers. A lot more workers. And sure, we'll pop down some there as well. Now, this is going to start putting a bit of extra strain on our services, so we're likely going to need to expand a little bit out here. Energy-wise, we've got enough for a long time. Garbage, we're actually alright. We've managed to avoid having any landfill, and I'm really happy about that. Eventually, we probably will need some, but we'll do okay for now. Elementary school, we're doing great. High school, we're coming close to our capacity now. We've got 32% of our population is well educated. I'm actually really happy about that one. 29% is educated and 39% is uneducated. Graduated citizens, 44%. That's not terribly bad. It could be better. Obviously, I would like it to be higher, but given the situation of our current industry and the job opportunities, it's not actually hurting us. It's actually probably benefiting us to have some a lower percentage of graduates from high school. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in my mind, the uneducated policy here is more that it's encouraging students to go to techs and, well, the effect is colleges over here, because in Britain, you don't, that's not an interchangeable word. College is something very different from a university. And colleges tend to focus on vocational skills. There are very tech-focused colleges where you will go there, and it is much closer to what I understand is the idea of a tech in, for example, the United States. But most colleges are effectively much the same learning system as you might find in university, so it's quite a lot of book learning, but there is much more of a focus on getting qualifications that are specific to certain vocations. Rather than getting a degree in physics or something like that, you'd end up with a qualification that says that you know how to work a very specific role, which might actually involve physics, but is more tailored towards getting a job as soon as you leave that college. Usually a little bit less time in learning as well. In fact, quite often a lot less time. Right, okay, so this place is developing quite nicely. I approve. Let's have a look at the happiness there. It could be better, actually. It could be better. Let's have a quick look at you. You seem reasonably okay. Teens, adults. All right, so we've got some decent family dynamics. They've got quite a few children here. Wow. Okay. my lord. What about here? 4 households. Yeah, quite a lot of children there. Let's have a look around some of the other places. We've got, yeah, a lot of children, actually. That's quite good. We have not got an aging population. I approve of this enormously. Now, what you will tend to find is, well, actually, this completely does not support what I was about to say. But generally speaking, and from what I understand, the more children-centric buildings you place down, and that does include parks. If you put a park that has like swings and bouncy castles, that sort of thing, and an elementary school near houses, then families with young children will tend to try to live in that place because it's got more of the sort of stuff that that family will need. Whereas if you put a university somewhere, then the population will still be young, but it'll be young adults that will tend to want to live around the university, and families which have a large amount of young adults in them, and so on and so forth. So you really can tailor your city in that regard, and it's always a good idea to keep that sort of thing in mind. But what I would like to do up here is just give you guys a park. Let's see, we can just go small playground. We can just go with a small park, honestly. And by small, they mean bloody huge, which I'm okay with, I suppose. We could put this park out here. That would actually affect a lot of people, though. We probably want something a little bit smaller than that. We could even put this here and then just home a lot of the residents over here. Another dog park. I'm a big fan of dog parks, okay? I like places for doggos. We could put a bouncy castle, a little merry-go-round, or rather a carousel. Beautiful Japanese garden is the pride of any neighborhood. The garden raises surrounding land value. I mean, we could do that, and it's actually quite a small building, this one. It's really quite nice. You can fit it in a very small space, and it has a reasonable range as well. You can see the kind of effect it'll have. Sure, let's pop that down. This should make this place really quite nice. The land value is rising very sharply, and we're already seeing a lot of these houses leveling up. Marvelous. That is brilliant. Now, you don't always want houses to level up. In fact, there are some instances where you might very specifically want them to stay at a bit of a lower level. But right now, having these places level up is quite in line with what we're aiming for. Let's get the rest of this district padded out. We've still got lots of room for more workers. In fact, we are going to have to start developing this side because that place has come together quite nicely. I like it. Apartment rents are rising, yes, because we have so many people who want to live here. We can, at this point, drop down some more commercial. I'm thinking maybe we want to... As much as I didn't strictly want to have any commercial here, given the demand for commercial, I think we can afford to. So let's go ahead with that. And down here, since this is a one-way, I do not want any buildings popping up with an entrance on this one-way system. So we're going to be very specific in saying the buildings have to be branching off these roads here instead. There we go. Perfect. Nothing will be built on these, ideally. Because that will lead to some issues with them even getting there. But there we are. That's actually quite nice, I think. Actually, quickly, before someone develops that, take that away, because that is an opportunity for me to have another street going out there if I really want to. There's a new piece of land available for purchase. I will be doing that just as soon as I'm ready to actually expand into them. We're probably going to be doing that today, either in this episode or the next. I'm not actually sure where the episodes are going to be going up, but I'm aiming for about 2 a day. I might even rise that if I really get into it, but 2 a day is already quite a lot for me to be able to manage. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It isn't cheap for me to be producing this much of a single series every day, but I really enjoy games like this. They are by far my guilty pleasure. Oh my lord. Right, okay, yeah, I kind of like that. We'll have... it's a bit of a steep incline there. You know what? Let's try and get this road coming out. I'd love it if the road wasn't quite as angled as that. Let's go down here. Oh, actually, no, let's bring this road down, sure. Okay, let's bring it down following that to about there. And then we're going to switch this to a lighter road. Just a path, really. And we'll have that branching out. Slope too steep. Ah, dread. Can we come down there? Yes, we can, actually. Something like this. I like it. I really like that. We're going to have some paths going along it. It's going to be glorious. Might even pop a little bit of something around here. A little bit of a street heading out there. Let me see if I can do something fancy with the roads. If I can, I would like to have just a tiny little bit of road. Almost to act as if it is a sort of like a car park or something. The access to the street. Let's pop that there. Oh my lord. This place is full. It's because so many people are moving in, actually. No, that doesn't give me the look that I'm aiming for, unfortunately. There are some little tricks you can do. In fact, one I will quickly show you, because I'm somewhat of a fan of cul-de-sacs. So one way you can do this, it requires a bit of finagling, but you can have a little street coming out. Let's actually put that little street up to there, sure. And then we switch over to a double wide street, because the double wide streets have a little turning over there, and I think that looks great myself. I think that it looks absolutely perfect. The only problem is you can't easily build off of it. So what we need at the top then is just a little bit more street to bring it out, so you can actually build a couple of buildings off it. Maybe if we centralize, actually let's centralize this a little bit more. So, let's do something like this. We bring this out. Yeah, we don't want this street to be too long, honestly. Bring that to about there. Then we'll get our little cul-de-sac roundabout right there. And then... It's a shame we don't have like any really narrow streets. That would work perfectly. But we can do something like this. Maybe... something there, something over here as well, something like that. We can build a couple of houses off these. Something like that, maybe. The fact they're dirt streets, though, doesn't sit too well with me. Let's see. If I upgrade these, would they become much different? Sort of. I mean, this kind of works in an odd way. We'll take that away, though. This will be our little cul-de-sac in here, I think. It takes up so much room to do, though. So very much room. It is hopelessly inefficient with space, but it looks nice, and that's all it needs to do at the moment. I'm not so desperate for room that I can't afford to waste a little bit here and there on things like this. Let's pop that there. We are going to need to curve this out, though. And away from these homes there. There we go. And then we can have the road following along again. Something like this. Nice curve until hopefully, can we hook that up? There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Perfect. Marvelous. In fact, we can take this out a little bit further as well. I might put a little end to this road again. You don't need this at all, by the way, because they are quite capable of turning at the head of one of these roads, but it just looks a little bit nicer. I don't know. I quite like it. Right, there we go. It's basically a mini roundabout without actually being a roundabout. There we are. That should do there quite nicely. We can have a couple of streets running up along here then. And we'll leave that one a little bit wider still. This doesn't quite have the look that I was hoping for, really. I might have to make my cul-de-sacs in a little bit more of a traditional way, alas. But we can build these out along here. That shouldn't be a problem. So they're not going to be very large homes, these ones. Let's just set them up like so. It's just a little bit of something to make it look nice there. We can have a couple of houses. Well, actually, no, we won't have any houses along that particular street. There we are. That'll set it apart a little bit more. There we are. And perfect. Right. Okay. Oh, we need to get some pipes, don't we? I do apologize. Spent all that time making the place look nice and forgot to give you water. I'm a bit of a dope. There we are. That should do. And because I actually do like them being on rings for... Just in my mind, it's redundancy. Look, okay, when the city needs to come along and work on this pipe, we can just disconnect it. It won't cut people off from having water. Honestly, I wish more cities built like that, because there are so many times where it's like, yeah, we need to cut off your water for about a day. Sorry about that. Why? Why couldn't you have just built with the idea of expansion in the first place, you silly government? Right, let's take care of these buildings. We don't want abandoned buildings in Midness Meadow. No, no, no. Right, okay, that should help out a little bit. We're starting to see a little tiny bit of industry demand. That is lovely. I'm very glad that we're starting to see that again. That is very, very good. Around here, well, actually, we're going to leave this open right now. We've got a decent amount of demand for shops. So, what I'm going to do then is, yeah, I'm actually okay with having little stores around here, you know, just before they get down to the riverfront. Pop those in there as well. But we're going to add in a couple of little lanes just to connect these up, I think. Should be lovely. So let's grab you. Of course, freeform, because curves are wonderful. Unfortunately, we can't build one there. That makes me sad. Can we, maybe, can I get you to just, no. Can I get you onto the right tile? No. Really doesn't want to work with me. There we go. That kind of does what I wanted. We'll pop one there. And again, get a bit of a curve straight down there. Marvellous. So they've got easy access to the shops that exist just down here. There we are. Beautiful, says I. Right, and we'll also add in... let's actually go for some rocks about here. Some, just a couple of stones. Have we got any large? Oh, that's a bit big. Pop one back there. There we are. And we'll have... Oh, I always go to the parks area because it's got a picture of a tree. And that's exactly what I'm actually going for right now, is some greenery. So it always distracts me. Pop a couple of these around there. I can barely see what I'm doing because it's nighttime, but that's fine. A couple down here too. And let's actually find a nice decorative tree to go in here. Something like that. Yeah. Lovely. Do we have any really nice ones? A flowering tree. Ooh. Yes. Okay, I'll pop that one there as well. Okay, that's actually quite lovely. We will develop this in time. I'm not going to spend too much time on this episode because I've already done quite a lot of beautifying, but we'll be developing this at some later stage. For now, want more residential all along here. We have a thirst for more population in this city. There are jobs to fill and not enough people to fill them. Ooh, we're starting to see an industrial demand really starting to climb now. I'm very happy to see that. Though, that being said, still so many buildings that are just being abandoned, which is a bit of a problem, honestly. There we go. How are we doing for electricity? Ooh, that is the first time I've seen that drop in a long while. Or at least drop that aggressively. Ooh, right. We are needing water. Wow. And we're at 100. We're actually at 102% on water. Okay, well, that's actually perfect because I did want to drop one or two of these in. Just because I think it looks perfect. Let's pop that one right there. It does just creep. Really, it makes sound? It's sound pollution, that is. I mean, obviously it makes sound, but I'm a little bit surprised with that one. So we've got plenty of water now. There we are. We might even add in an extra one just so that we can build up in the future. Let's see, how's that? No, it's not actually got anything there. That's fine. I'm happy with that, so we'll pop another one down right there. Perfect. Those are going to look lovely. And let's go... Nah, okay, we'll take you, because I'm... You're scarcely a shrub, let alone a tree. Oh, I guess, actually, when you think about the scale, yeah, okay, they're trees, but very, very small ones, I think we can all agree with. A tree with leaves, as opposed to those trees that have no leaves. This is where everyone in the comments are, actually, this particular species of tree is known to have no leaves. It has needles instead, like a pine tree, obviously. But to me, they're leaves, okay? They're the things the tree uses to eat. Leaves. Right. City planning policies. Ooh, Good. Level 4 unique buildings, leisure and tourism unique buildings, oil industry specialization, tourism specialization, free public transport, helicopter priority, heavy traffic ban, haha. Encourage biking, nice. Bike ban on sidewalks. I would only really do that if I had plenty of opportunity for other things. Name what? I have no idea. No loud noise in the night. Leisure specialized areas will close for the night. Reduces noise pollution caused by leisure. Ah, okay. So no clubs and all the pubs have to kick out at 10, I suppose. Only residents and businesses can use the area for motor vehicles. Ban other motor traffic. Now, that one might not be too bad. Fast recovery. In these areas, the emergency response unit does not search for survivors, but only makes the lot ready for rebuilding. More citizens are lost, but the city recovers faster. Why would you do that? I assume that's specific to disasters, not regular thing, but no! That is horrible. No rebuilding. Forbid rebuilding on lots with destroyed buildings. Lots have to be manually bulldozed to allow rebuilding. No, that's actually pretty cool to have. Combustion engine ban. Only electric cars are allowed in the affected area, except for residents, businesses, and city service vehicles. Please note that this policy takes some time to have an effect. Citizens with combustion engine vehicles will avoid the policy area, but if they have a destination within the area, they will travel to it. Okay. Filter industrial waste. Industrial buildings need to filter their waste, making them pollute the ground a lot less. Costs 2 per industrial building per week. And electric cars. Everyone living in the policy area must switch to an electric car if they own any cars. I like it. I like it a lot. We've now got 2-lane roads with trees, 4-lane roads with trees. Glorious. We've got grass, verges and things like that. All sorts of new roads. Absolutely wonderful. I approve. Right, we've got the oil power plant. Now this is, it does produce a lot of pollution, but produces an enormous amount of power. So we might actually want to switch both of our coal-fired power plants to this. We'll have a look. Tropical garden, a lush tropical garden for your citizens and tourists to enjoy. Police headquarters, just bigger service buildings there, but we now have the bus stations, jet ski rental, fishing pier. That's quite useful. Fishing tours, a marina, skate park. That's actually quite nice. That would be good in a very young-centric area. Give the youth something to do. Road maintenance depot. Road maintenance depot houses maintenance vehicles. They travel around the city to boost roads, allowing travel at higher than normal speeds. Ah, that might be useful, actually. Fire helicopter depot, weather radar. The weather radar keeps watch on weather patterns. It predicts strong thunderstorms and tornadoes and can even notify you where a storm or tornado will hit, making it easier to prepare for the disaster. The building covers the whole city. Oh, kind of like that, actually. We might build one of those. Geothermal power plant. The geothermal power plant utilizes the warmth in the Earth's core to provide electricity for the city. Geothermal energy does not pollute. Okay, now we are talking. That sounds amazing. So new different skins for the various service buildings as well. And the community pool. Poolside fun. The community pool is a pool open for all citizens and tourists. If not only it not only is fun, I would have said that it is not only fun, but also raises the health of people a little bit. I am very happy with this. We've reached 5,000 population. I wasn't expecting to reach that so quickly, but I am very, very glad that we have. Okay, well, unfortunately, the city's water is starting to get a bit worse. Pumping service has a fleet of vacuum trucks that are sent out when the area is flooded. Oh, that's really useful. And eco water outlet. The green alternative. Oh, I completely missed this. Oh, my lord. While the eco water outlet is quite expensive, it helps purify the water let out of it. Pollution is reduced, but not wholly gone. The outlet lets out polluted water from the sewage system. Needs a water pump to supply the system with water. Requires electricity and a pipe connection. Well, that is perfect. We've already got our water pumping station. So now that we actually do need a little bit more sewage treatment, let's upgrade. How much do they cost? This one's 2,500, whereas this one's 4,000, okay. And is, well, actually not that much more expensive. Uses a lot more power, though. An awful lot more power and half as much drainage capacity. So I think it's a good option for right now because we only slightly need an increase, but there's going to be a very expensive increase. Let's see if we can't just pop this one right there. There we go. Perfect. And then we can hook this up with piping. There we are. That should solve our sewage treatment issues sufficiently. Let's actually speed things along just to see that working. There we go. Oh, I wish I'd seen that before. I probably would have built one, but at this point we would have needed a second one. Okay, no, that's cool. I'm happy with that. We've got a lot of things that we can now do. So let's go ahead and have a look at some of the options for healthcare that we have. We have the small sports gymnasium and the community pool. Costs a lot of money and costs a lot to maintain. Costs an awful lot to maintain. But I really would like it, as it would help all of our citizens. Let's turn that overlay off for now. Where would be the best place for this? I think if we could just nestle it in here, I think it'd be quite nice. It's also near the commercial districts, you know. People can come straight out of the pool, go along for a bit of shopping, maybe some food courts or something afterwards. Alternatively, it could be a whole day out. You go out for some shopping, then finish it off with a nice relaxing swim in the pool. Marvellous. It's going to be expensive, but our city can easily afford it, and I think it would be nice for the city to have something like this. There we are. Enjoy. Enjoy. It'll raise health a wee bit as well, so that's always lovely as well. Right. Okay. Other things that we can... We're not going to be able to afford to put that down. It's just not happening. Not today, anyway. How about... Let's have a look. We've got some tents. We've got some tourist attractions. Oh, no, actually, these are marina attractions. Well, actually, the skate park is there as well. Yeah, tourism and leisure. Well, let's pop this over here, I think. Let's find a little spot where we can have this. Maybe this spot right there. Sure. Pop that down right by there. And that should give people a decent amount of leisure activities in that area. In fact, that's one of the only places that has any leisure activities. Yikes. We really do need to fix that, don't we? We've got other types of parks. Basketball park, tennis court. Yeah, let's go for the tennis court. I'd like something nice and outdoorsy over here. I'm sorry, houses, but we're going to need a tennis court. Actually, let's not put the tennis court over there, shall we? Because then if the balls get knocked out of the court, they're going to end up on the street. Now, let's put it somewhere where it isn't going to potentially cause traffic accidents. Sure, over here. That's actually a nice place to pop down the tennis court, in my opinion. Very nice place to pop a tennis court. And that will give you a little bit of leisure activities. We don't have too much, though, at the moment, which is still a bit of a concern. What do we have? A riding stable, a beach volleyball court. Yeah, we're not having one of those. We could pop down a basketball court, though, I guess. You've already got something up there. Well, actually, no. Let's not go too overboard with it, because this is actually a fairly large setup, though. I guess I could have it right there. Might not be a bad place, but again, it's so close to the one of the major roads in the city. I'd rather not. We could have it somewhere up here along Lovelace Lane, or maybe even around here. It's not terribly bad. I mean, basketball, you're much less likely to just have the most ridiculously awesome serve ever. Unfortunately, the ball is now gone, and it's probably smacked a house 2 miles away. So, yeah, we'll pop the basketball court there. There we are. Now, there's a load of leisure activities in these areas, and I think that's actually going to be quite cool. There's a high school just around there as well, so it's a nice area for people to go over there. I think that works out well. What is the crime rate in the city at the moment? 8%. It is rising, actually. Maybe some police over here wouldn't be a bad idea, thinking about it. On that note, we probably also want another firehouse, because this is quite far away from everywhere else. Yeah, we are going to need some emergency services, so with that in mind, let's pop down 1 or 2 over here, because I think from here they're going to have access to pretty much everywhere they need to be. So we'll have a firehouse right there, and this should dramatically reduce the risk to our citizens. It's going to be costly again, but for the time being, that isn't... Oh, sorry, that was the police station, my bad. We want a fire station around here as well. Let's go to fire hazard. There we are. No? No, I was on the right thing before. My lord. Right, there we go. I think that would actually work out quite well, though. There doesn't seem to be a very high crime rate over here, but the crime rate is rising, so yeah, we'll get this here because that should help drop it a little bit, because there's the police cars are likely to patrol these areas a little bit more actively. There we are. Perfect. And right behind that we'll have some more farms as well. There we go. Let's make sure that we've got all of these selected. And pop these down there and along here. And I think at that point we're pretty much done with the agricultural area over here. There we are. I can hear some pigs. Some mochins. And down... Yeah, we still need a bit more residential so we can pop these in as well. I'm not going to put anything there for now. Alright. Okay, we are actually starting to get to the point where we need as much commercial now as we do residential. But I think we've done a really good job setting all of that up, honestly. Has this road got a different name? Greenway Avenue. Yes. Why does Bone Dragon only come up so far? That is a little bit odd. And also, I'm fairly certain I wanted this to be Bone Dragon Street. There we are. Why does Greenway Avenue start here? That's a bit of a curious one, honestly. Either way, let's change that name. This shall be... Let's see. Halle Lazarus. There we go. You now have yourself your very own large street, though this is becoming a bit of an issue. We might actually have to upgrade part of this road, honestly, because we need much more traffic moving through it. Though most of them are actually heading into the residential area, it seems. Ah, the traffic lights are possibly causing us issue here. So, sure, yeah, the majority of this traffic wants to get into the residential area. So let's give them priority here, shall we? Stop there. And this way, residents can just turn, hopefully, without too much issue, onto that street. There we go. That's a lot better. Or at least it looked like it was for a second. Oh, they're still going fairly slowly. Maybe I could stop that and just give these guys massive preference. Nope, they're still just taking an age. Okay, we might need a roundabout there then. Something to just speed things along. We could just upgrade the road. We'll try that first. And move it up to a 6-lane road just along here. There we are. And hopefully that will make a bit of difference. There we go. Nope, still having a bit of trouble. Okay, well, I may have to upgrade that one to a roundabout a little bit later just to get the traffic flowing a bit more freely. But with that, I think we've actually done a good job. We've expanded this out. Our problem with worker numbers has pretty much completely gone. Traffic down here seems pretty cozy. Still a bit of an issue there, but over here it's starting to get a little bit less of an issue, or at least less of it backing up there. But I think we're going to need a roundabout here, and we are going to need to address the massive problem around here as well. We'll have a look at that in the next episode. But before we leave, the final thing we're going to do is we're going to buy some new land. It is high time. And obviously, this is going to be the one we purchase. It has got quite a lot of actual land and forestry. So we've got farming and forestry in this area. We're not going to be pursuing that. But what I might do as well, as we do have enough to purchase another piece of land, we could go all the way out. Go away. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and purchase this one as well. It's not so expensive, but we will have access to the water at that point, I think. No ship connections. Oh, wow, really? That is a bit of a problem. Where would be the ship connections? Down here then? Or maybe it is actually over there. That's a bit of an issue. But either way, we have expanded out massively now. so we can start building down here. We'll make a nice junction here on the highway, and then begin focusing on, I'm thinking, a bit of a commercial hub, surrounded by some more densely packed residences. We will, in the future, start expanding out in this direction. And at the very least, then, we can continue building up the agricultural specialization for our industry. But that's going to be it from me. I really do hope you've enjoyed the episode, though, and will be joining me for the next. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.